Shabbat Shalom. Good evening. Welcome and greetings to the 12 tribes of the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that are scattered into the four corners of the earth, as the Bible predicted through prophecy, because of the sins of our fathers of worshiping other gods. Greetings to you who are of that bloodline and are now awaiting the soon return of the Messiah to establish his kingdom. Greetings also to those that are not of the bloodline, but as it were, would be grafted in to the scattered nation in repentance to the Father Yahweh by Messiah Yahweh Shah. Greetings. Blessings upon those that are working in the healthcare field, that are with all their heart and soul trying to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean. Blessings upon those that make deliveries for us for our convenience. Double blessings on those trying to deliver boys and girls, men and women and children from sex slave operations, prostitution, pornography, child molestation, pedophilia, human trafficking, and double curses upon those that are practicing these things. Finally, blessings upon those that are trying to help the homeless. 600,000 men, women, and children in the United States, and the numbers are growing. Millions around the world that don't have a roof over their head, and many more that are not considered homeless but are sleeping in a car or in a van. Blessings upon those people that are suffering like that, and blessings upon those trying to help, for theirs is the kingdom. Before I continue, a few weeks ago, I asked you to pray for a friend of mine named Eduardo. Eduardo has been a friend of mine for a long time. In fact, I baptized Eduardo, and this was many years ago when I was still a Christian. He contacted me a couple of weeks ago to let me know that he had terminal cancer. I had not talked to him or heard from him in quite a while. And at that time, I asked you to pray for him. Well, now he's in hospice, and it looks like the Most High is going to put him to sleep. Please pray for him that his last hours on this wicked kingdom would be pain-free, and that he would awaken in the kingdom of Messiah. Thank you. We have been studying the prophecy of Jeremiah, and we are now looking at chapter 33 today. And there's a few things I just want to go over before we get back into the prophecies of Jeremiah. We talked about the other day, we touched on the mark of the beast on Wednesday night, touched on it. We did an in-depth study on the mark of the beast in the Revelation series, which you can find on the Raw Hebrew YouTube channel, and you look under playlists. Even like if you go and you find, if you just do a search in YouTube for Raw Hebrew Remnant, and you'll find our channel, and you can find the Revelation Series 2021 playlist, or in the description box, there'll be the website where you can also find the Revelation 2021 series playlist. So we did an in-depth study in the whole book of Revelation, including Revelation 13, which contains the information about the mark of the beast. A couple of things I want to go over. First, because it pertains to what we're studying tonight, because we're looking at Jeremiah. Jeremiah was a Hebrew prophet. He was a Levitical prophet from the priesthood of Levi. And I want to go over just the general information in terms of prophetic utterance and who receives prophetic utterance and who is it for. First off, Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. Before I go into it, I want to let you know people are going to be angry. I can't worry about that right now. We're too close to the end for me to concern myself with people that don't read the Bible and listen to man. Okay? It's real close to the end. And guessing about prophecy is not going to cut it. right? It's not. You're going to be confused. Many people are already confused, and they're just going to get more confused. Notice what it says here, Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bear record of the word of God and of the testimony of Jesus Christ and of all things that he saw. Number one, for you to understand Revelation, you must be one of the servants. If you're not a servant, it's not for you. Did you notice what it said? To show unto his servants things that must shortly come to pass. This is not given to everybody. It's not for everybody to understand. It's for his servants to understand. Okay? Who are his servants? The same book of Revelation, chapter 7. We're going to start at verse 3 to cut to the chase on this. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So the servants come from the tribes of Israel. That's the first thing you need to understand. So guessing about prophecy because you saw one verse somewhere like Christians do, or you saw technology, somebody explained to you about the shot and you think you know what the mark of the beast is, you're going to be disappointed and confused. Your life depends on this stuff. The servants are the Israelites. That's the servants. Okay? It is not Christians. Christianity is not in the Bible. There is no place in the Bible where it ever states Messiah is going to start this new religion called Christianity. Never did it because he never happened. Christianity came from Rome. It came out of the Catholic Church. All of the churches today are offshoots of Rome. They can all trace their roots back to the Roman Catholic Church. All the Christian churches. And Rome is the whore. Okay? Your life depends on this stuff. Guessing about it, your feelings are irrelevant. I take this very seriously because blood is on me if I don't give you the truth. Okay? So prophecy is not for everybody. It said it right there. It's for the servant. Now, people will still argue. I talk to people and give them the Bible, and they'll still, I don't believe that, or I don't see it that way. The Bible is saying it. Now, again, this is what I'm saying to y'all. I'm believing the word, period. Nothing else. Just the word. Now, there was a time that when you said you believe the word alone, people would say, oh yeah, of course, everybody believes the word alone. But now today, they're not even doing that. They're listening to whatever website, whoever has some documents from somebody, and they're not even giving you the word. They don't even read it. They don't even know it. We're living at the time in Earth's history where the servants, see, this is what's going to happen, brethren. This is what's already happened. When Messiah first came to the earth, the religious leaders did not recognize who he was. They did not recognize who he was. None of the religious leaders recognized him as Messiah, even from birth. But there was an old woman named Anna, a prophetess. There was an old man named Simeon, and the Spirit told them Messiah is here. And they recognized him, even as a baby. Brethren, the same is true with the mark of the beast. The same is true with the return of Messiah. Most people will not recognize it. And that's why when Messiah returns the second time, it'll be a surprise to most of the earth. It will not be a surprise to his servants. They will know when he's coming. They will see it. They will be waiting for him. How do I know that? First of all, Revelation. And back to Revelation. Revelation chapter 1. Revelation chapter 1. Revelation chapter 1. Verse 4. John, to the 7 churches which are in Asia, grace be unto you and peace from him which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 spirits which are before his throne, and from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness, the first begotten of the dead, the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and hath made us kings and priests unto Yah our Father, and to him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because, and why they wailing? Revelation chapter 6. So you got to know the Bible. I'm going to give you more witnesses. Revelation chapter 6. You see, take note, those of y'all that don't read the Bible. Take note. Notice I'm coming from the word. When you come at me with anything, you make sure you're coming from the word with some witnesses. Otherwise, you ain't saying nothing. 666, y'all, is the beast, the dragon, and the false prophet. All of them are based in man-made religions and beliefs. And they're founded and powered by the dragon. Because the first lie that was told on the earth is that you could be a god, Eve. And many women think they're going to be goddesses. It's popular till they call yourself a goddess. That's why she's subservient to the man. She was beguiled, she was fooled, and they still being fooled. And men did what Adam did and took the fruit. He wasn't tricked. He took the fruit to be with her. And that's the same thing going on today. People following their own beliefs, their own theories, and not the word of the Most High at all. But we, the Israelites, the true Israelites, are of the belief that, you know what? When you come with a doctrine, you need 2 or 3 witnesses. 2 or 3 witnesses from the word, from the Hebrew prophets. Revelation chapter 6, verse 15, 16, and 17. Notice what it says. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captain, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freedman hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? They're not going to know until it's too late, because they've been listening to man. They've been trusting in man. And man's doctrine comes from the dragon. The dragon gave him his power, his seat, and his great authority. And I beheld another beast that came up out of the earth. It looked like a lamb, but it spake as a dragon. The beast, the false prophet, and the dragon are what the majority of the earth are following. This is the word of Yah. We have to be in this word in order to understand what's happening. Okay? If you don't follow this word, I can't help you. You're going to have a problem. Okay? One more witness, though. I told you I was going to give you 2 or 3. Here's another one. Isaiah chapter 25. Isaiah chapter 25. And Isaiah 25 comes right after chapter 24, where the prophet is saying how the world's going to be turned upside down. Let's look at just to preview chapter 24, verse 1. Behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty. Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and burneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priest. As with the servant, so with his master. As with the maid, so with her mistress. As with the buyer, so with the seller. As with the lender, so with the borrower. As with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled. Yahweh has spoken this word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away, and the haughty people of the earth do languish. The inhabitants also, the earth the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Why? Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Wait a minute. Let's go to the end of that chapter before we go to chapter 25. And it shall come to pass in that day, Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. This is the first resurrection. And shall be shut up in prison. And after many days, they shall be visited. That's the second resurrection. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when Yahweh of hosts shall reign in Zion. In Zion. And in Jerusalem. Before his ancients, gloriously. Watch this, though. I told you the servants are going to know. It's the revelation of the Messiah, which Yah gave to him. It's the revealing of the Messiah to his servants, as we studied when we looked at the book of Revelation. And he's revealing it to us, as we saw. Like I said, you want to go look at it? We did a whole series, multiple weeks series on the whole book of Revelation. It's in the website. Chapter 1, we did. Y'all who was there, bear witness. We did each chapter one at a time till we went all the way to chapter 22. We didn't skip anything. And we use witnesses from all over the Bible for everything. Here, Isaiah chapter 25. Isaiah chapter 25. See, people too lazy, spiritually lazy, yet want to argue. Spiritually lazy. Don't want to go read the scriptures, but want to argue about what their theory is. Like I said, man, this is serious stuff. People's life is on the line. My brother's about to die here, and I'm praising the Most High that he's in the truth before he died. Because many people are dying without it. Isaiah chapter 25. I'm going to start at verse 8. He will swallow up death in victory, and the Most High Yahweh will wipe away tears from off all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth. For Yahweh have spoken it. And it shall be said in that day, watch, lo, this is our Most High. We have waited for him. He will save us. This is Yahweh. We will have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. Waiting for him. Not surprised. Not wailing. Not weeping like the most of the people in the earth going to do at that time. Waiting for him. Because he had revealed when he's coming to them. He had revealed the revelation of himself to them. Because they are his servants. Now, we're talking about Jeremiah. I want to just tell you all this also. If you study the word, you will know that when Moses brought the children of Israel to the borders of the promised land, and then Joshua, the son of Nun of the tribe of Ephraim, was commissioned to bring them into the promised land. It was 12 tribes. It was one nation. Okay? There were 12 tribes, and they did not count the tribe of Levi, because Levi was the priesthood that was set aside. The Most High said, I am their inheritance. They're not inheriting any land here. And Joseph, because he got the blessing of the firstborn, he got 2 tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay? Because Joseph got the blessing of the firstborn. The firstborn gets the double blessing. Reuben was going to get it, but he slept with his father's concubine. So he lost the blessing. And Joseph was the firstborn of Rachel. So Joseph got the blessing. That's why he got the coat of many colors. And that's why his brothers were so jealous of him. But that's how they came across with 12 tribes and the tribe of Levi. Okay. Now, when they came across, it was one nation. 12 tribes, one nation. But then over the course of time, because of worshiping other gods in the Bible, if you read the Bible, and those of you that have read can testify what I'm saying. Those of you who have not read, you go read it. But the most important and the most prevalent warning, the most prevalent thing the Most High says in his word to his people is do not worship other gods. We were scattered off the land as the original Israelites because our fathers worshiped other gods, the gods of the nations. And he continually said, I'm going to send you to these nations and you're going to worship gods that your fathers knew not. And that's what everybody's doing. That's what Christianity is, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, all of them. There's only one true God. It's Yah. And the Bible says, he's only showed himself to one people. He's only revealed himself to one family on the whole earth. That's Jacob's children. It hasn't changed. So they started worshiping other gods. And then the Most High, first what he did is he split the nation so that you had the northern kingdom led by Ephraim with 10 tribes. And you had the southern kingdom of Judah and Benjamin. He split the kingdom. Now, by the time we get to Jeremiah, the northern kingdom had already been scattered for multiple generations. They were scattered first. Let's take a look at it. They were scattered before the southern kingdom was taken into captivity. The northern kingdom was already scattered. Let's go to 2 Kings. 2 Kings. I'm sorry, it's 1 Kings. Man, it's earlier than even I thought. It's 1 Kings. 1 Kings. Hold on, let me find it. Hold on, Brother Louis. Hold on, brethren. I'm going to find it in here. Man, I can't find it now. But they were taken captive by the Assyrians. I'm going to find it, though. They were taken captive by the Assyrians. The northern kingdom was taken captive first by the Assyrians and way before the southern kingdom. So by the time, and I'm getting ready to find it here, but by the time Jeremiah came on the scene, there was no northern kingdom. There was no northern kingdom of Israel anymore. It was already scattered. Okay. And then the southern kingdom, of course, we know was scattered by Nebuchadnezzar first. And then later we had Nebuchadnezzar followed by the Medes and the Persians, followed by the Greeks, followed by finally, we know in AD 70, the Romans. Okay. That was the last scattering. Man, I can't find it right here. But no, I did find it. 2 Kings chapter 17. 2 Kings chapter 17. Yes, 2 Kings chapter 17. I'm going to begin at verse 1. 2 Kings chapter 17. Praise Yah. So we're going to see here in 2 Kings 17 that the northern kingdom, the northern 10 tribes had already been scattered long before Jeremiah was ever born. So by the time Jeremiah came on the scene as a prophet, they weren't there anymore. I'm saying that for a reason, because you're going to see his prophecy today in chapter 33, what he says. Okay, so let's look at it. Second Kings chapter 17. Let's see, there's so much here. I'm going to start at verse 1. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, Hoshea, king of Elah, king of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. See, they called the northern tribes Israel. They called the southern kingdom Judah. So you had the northern kingdom called Israel and the southern kingdom called Judah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh. But not as the kings of Israel were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hushai, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore, the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Syria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. And in the 9th year of Hushai, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in Abor by the river Gaza in the cities of the Medes. And so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Yahweh their Most High, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and feared other gods. When you're talking about the mark of the beast, you better understand this. It's extremely important. You better look at Daniel chapter 3 if you really want to understand the mark of the beast. And also the covenant, which is written both in Ezekiel 20 and Deuteronomy 5. Otherwise, you have no idea what you're talking about. Here we go. Verse 8. And walked and feared other gods and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom Yahweh cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against Yahweh their Most High, and built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen, whom Yahweh carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke Yahweh to anger. For they served idols, whereof Yahweh has said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Yet Yahweh testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways, keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like to the neck of their fathers. They did not believe in Yahweh their Most High, and they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimony which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahweh had charged them that they should not do like them. So they were taken away captive out of their land long before Judah. Okay, now let's go now, Jeremiah chapter 33. Now, again, we're understanding that Jeremiah was the prophet for the first destruction of the temple. Okay, he was the prophet. So at the first destruction of the temple, he was the prophet at that time, of course. Also at that time was Daniel. Also at that time was Ezekiel. And there were a couple of other prophets that were at that time, at the first destruction of the temple. Jeremiah was the main one. All the other prophets were looking at Jeremiah because he was the one that was standing up and he was catching it. In fact, we're going to see how he was catching it. We've already seen some stuff. And that's why, let me tell you something, man. I don't worry about people on YouTube disagreeing with me, arguing with me. I don't worry about that. We read here in Jeremiah, he was going through it in such a way that the Most High had to tell him, you running with horses. You running with footmen right now. What you going to do when you got to run against horses? In other words, this is nothing. What you going to do when it really gets hot? See, we don't know nothing about footmen or horses yet. Now, in some of these other places, in Haiti, oh, they know. In the Philippines, oh, yeah, they know. They know what it is running with footmen and horses. See, United States, it's going to get the hottest of every place on the earth. And I mean hot, not just temperature-wise. It's going to get thick. It's going to get thick in terms of trouble, in terms of trial, in terms of attack from the Most High. It's going to get heavy up in here. Okay? Because this is the center of where all the evil is let loose. It comes from Rome, but the United States is the last part. It's that beast that comes up out of the earth that looks like a lamb, but speaks as a dragon and deceiveth the earth and makes an image to the beast. It says, if you don't worship the image, you're going to die. It's going to get thick up in here. We're already starting to see little remnants of it right now. Did you see them floods that hit North Carolina and Tennessee? You see that hurricane that's coming to North New Orleans right now? You see the floods that was hitting up in the northern part of the United States already? You see the fires out west? You see the temperatures are hotter than ever. You see that there's 600,000 homeless people in the United States right now, and they just stopped the moratorium. You're going to see a lot more. Do you know this disease? COVID? You think, what about Ebola before that? Y'all forgot about that one? You think that's the last? There's more coming. It's getting ready to get thick up in here. That's what I'm telling you. This ain't time to play, man. This ain't the time. This ain't it at all. This ain't it at all. Okay? This ain't the time. This is the time to be knowing, not guessing. Okay? Jeremiah chapter 33. Watch this. Watch this. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto Jeremiah the second time while he was yet shut up in the court of the prison. Wait a minute. Where was Jeremiah? You know where he was? He was in jail. Jeremiah, the Hebrew prophet, was in jail. Well, why was he in jail? For speaking Yah's words. He was in jail. Look, Jeremiah was arrested. Daniel was thrown in the lion's den. They wanted to stone Moses and Joshua and Caleb. Messiah was arrested. Paul was arrested. Peter was arrested. John was arrested. All the prophets was arrested and thrown in jail. What you think is going to happen in these days when you're speaking the truth? Let's continue. So here's Jeremiah in jail. Verse 2. So he's in jail, and the word came to him while he was in jail. Thus saith Yahweh, the maker thereof, Yahweh that formed it, to establish it. Yahweh is his name. What is he talking about? It. What is it? Yahweh formed it to establish it. He's the maker thereof. Maker of what? As you're going to see, he's talking about the nation of Israel. He's the maker of Israel. He formed Israel. Deuteronomy tells us when he created the earth, he set space for Israel. When he created the earth, before Israel even existed. So he said he formed it. He established it. You're going to see. Watch. Verse 3. Call unto me, he said, and I will answer thee and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. For thus saith Yahweh, the Most High of Israel, concerning the houses of this city, and concerning the houses of the kings of Judah, which are thrown down by the mounts and by the sword. They come to fight with the Chaldeans, but it is to fill them with the dead bodies of men, whom I have slain in mine anger and in my fury, for all the whose wickedness I have hid my face from this city. Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth. So he's about to allow the Chaldeans to destroy the city. They're going to destroy the temple. And now he's telling Jeremiah, there's going to come a time when I'm going to bring health and a cure. There's going to come a time when I'm going to reveal abundance of peace and truth to Israel. You want to know what Revelation says? You better find an Israelite. Those are his servants. Those are his servants. There is no prophet in the Bible, not one, that's not an Hebrew Israelite. Find one for me. Ain't one in the Bible that's not a Hebrew Israelite. All the prophets of the Bible are Hebrew Israelites. Why? Because it's to the Jew first and also to the Greek. That's why. Because that's the order. It's all about Israel. Those that come with Israel are going to get blessed. Remember what he told Abraham? He that touches you, he that goes against you, goes against me. I will bless them that bless you and curse them that curse you. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Remember what we read in Jeremiah chapter 30? He said about his people, I'm going to make a full end of all the nations wherein you were scattered, but I'm not going to make a full end of you. And there's a lot of more. You want to know the truth about the mark of the beast? You better find you a Hebrew, because you're not going to get it. Some of y'all still not getting it. Allison Wells, you're a woman. You have no idea what you're talking about. You've never even read the Bible. Go read St. Thomas or whatever stupidness you read. You have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, let's continue. Jeremiah chapter 33. I will cause the captivity of Judah. Wait now. Watch chapter 33, verse 7. Watch it. I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first. Wait a minute. Remember what we just read? The Israelite, the northern kingdom, was already gone. By this time, it had been going like 100, 200 years. And they were scattered to this day. To this day, nobody knows where the 12 tribes, where the 10 northern kingdom tribes are. I believe they're the Indians. I believe the Indians are part of the Israelites. People want to argue with me, but that's my conviction. Because they've been scattered. Okay? And they've been scattered all over the earth. And when the Europeans came to this land they call now America, when they came to Haiti, or when they came to Bermuda, when they came to Cuba, when they came to Puerto Rico, which is Puerto Rico, who they find there? Indians. And they killed them first. Either they died of disease that the Europeans brought with them, or they worked them to death. Okay? Then they went and got Judah from the west coast of Africa. That's the history. Okay? So he's saying right here, I'm going to bring the captivity of Judah and Israel. So obviously, this is a future prophecy. This is not a prophecy even for the rebuilding of the second temple that was going to happen after Jeremiah's death 70 years later. This is not even that. This is for our time. He said, I'm bringing the captivity of Judah and Israel. And this is not the only place. We know this is not the only place. Let me give you some witnesses. Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11. Please, brethren, please read your Bible. Read it from Genesis to Revelation. Read it through. And once you're able to have read it through, read it again. And when you read it the second time, read it again. And every time you read it, the Most High will show you deeper revelations of the truth. Because it's not just words on a page, like with some of these other stuff people are looking at. This is breathed by the Spirit of the Most High. This is supernatural. It's your effort in trying to read it that He's going to bless you with. Okay? Watch. Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11. Beginning at verse 9. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. That's Messiah. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Amath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. There it is again. Israel and Judah. He's going to bring them together. Wait a minute. Let me give you another one. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. Ezekiel chapter 37. Now, we already know, most of y'all know about the valley of the dry bones in Ezekiel 37. Most people don't read past that, though. You should read the whole chapter. But in Ezekiel 37, he says to Ezekiel, these dead bones are the whole house of Israel, right? After he does that, Ezekiel chapter 37, beginning at verse 15. The word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, is after the dead bones are risen, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for the house of Israel, his companions. He had two sticks, northern kingdom, southern kingdom. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put with him even with the stick of Judah, and will make them one stick. They shall be one in mine hand. You see, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, he's going to bring back to the land. The kingdom that the Messiah getting ready to establish in just a few years is going to be made up of the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, as well as the nations that are saved. As well as the nations that are saved. Wait a minute. Let's keep going. And verse 20. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes, and say unto them, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, behold, I will take of the children of Israel from among the heathen, so that the northern kingdom is scattered among the heathen right now, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land, upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And they shall no more be two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Neither shall they defile themselves with any more with their idols, like Christianity, nor their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And David, my servant, shall be king over them. And they all shall have one shepherd. And they shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob, my servant. See, he keeps saying servant with regard to Israelites. Wherein your fathers have dwelt. They shall dwell therein, even they and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Watch verse 28. And the heathen shall know that I, Yahweh, do sanctify Israel, where my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. There's going to be heathen saved, and they're going to have to learn, but they never got a chance to learn. They're going to learn in the kingdom, and the priests are going to teach them. Praise the Most High Yahweh. Praise Yah, man. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? A beautiful thing. All right. Back to Jeremiah chapter 33. Back to Jeremiah 33. So you see Jeremiah in jail, and the Most High is telling him while he's in jail, he's going to restore, he's going to bring a cure to the land. It's a future prophecy. It's the time where we live. It's about to happen, brethren. We are so close to this coming to pass. We just within a decade or so of this happening. It's coming, okay? Very shortly. The Bible has shown us, the book of Revelation has shown us. It's really close, okay? So Jeremiah chapter 33. Verse 8. And I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me. And I will pardon their iniquities, whereby they have sinned, whereby they have transgressed against me. Now, we know that sin is forgiven through Messiah's sacrifice for sin. And he's talking about Israel. And as Peter said, unto you, Israelites, is the promise of Messiah. Unto you. He said, Messiah said, I came not, but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And remember when Zacchaeus came from the sycamore tree and Messiah says salvation has come to this house because he's also a son of Abraham. So the Israelite kingdom is the focus of the establishment of the truth and of the gospel. Somebody said, well, what about the Gentiles? Well, you can see in the New Testament, the letters of the apostle Paul to the Romans, the Philippians, the Galatians, the Corinthians, the Colossians. These were letters to groups of people that were converted Israelites. They were converted into the kingdom. I want to show you. Let me give you an example of that in the Corinthian letters. Let's look at the Corinthians. He's writing to converted Gentiles and also to people who were Hellenists, which are Israelites by blood that were so far removed from their culture, from their heritage, they called them also Gentiles. So you had converted Gentiles and you had people that were coming back to their heritage. And I want to show you how he puts this in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Watch what it says. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. He's talking to the Corinthians. Did he call them Christian? No. Notice what he says. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, beginning at verse 1. He's writing to the Corinthians. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of the spiritual rock that followed them. That rock was Messiah. But with many of them, Yah was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Watch. Now, these things were written, were our examples, to the intent that we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, worshipers of other gods, as some of them. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and to drink and arose up to play. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed and fell in one day 20 and 3,000. Neither let us tempt Messiah. See, Messiah was among them, but they didn't call themselves Christians. Neither did Paul call these brethren here Christians. He was talking about Israel, and they have been grafted in to the nation through Messiah. Okay. So there is no Christian church in the Bible, but there is an Israelite nation. And Hebrews as well as Gentiles can come into that nation through Messiah. That is why when we come here in Jeremiah chapter 33, he says, I will pardon all their iniquities. He only does that through Messiah. The wages of sin is still death. So through the sacrifice Messiah gave for the sins of his nation first, and then through his nation to the Gentiles, that's how the sins get forgiven of the nation. That's why when they were doing the communion, Messiah said, I will not drink of the cup of the fruit of the vine until I drink it new with you in the kingdom, because his blood, he said, this is my blood. It was the ratification of the covenant with Israel, the re-establishment of the covenant. They call it the new covenant. It's really the renewed covenant. Renewed with Israel and Judah, as we already read in Jeremiah chapter 31. Okay, you already read it. Israel and Judah, same with Hebrews. It's in the book of Hebrews and in the book of Jeremiah. Let's continue. Verse 8 and 9, Jeremiah chapter 33. And I will cleanse them from all their iniquity whereby they have sinned against me, and I will pardon all their iniquities whereby they have sinned, whereby they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise, and an honor before all the nations of the earth, which shall hear all the good that I do unto them, and they shall fear and tremble for all the goodness and for all the prosperity that I procure unto it. Thus saith Yahweh. Again, there shall be heard in this place, which ye shall say shall be desolate without man and without beast, even in the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem that are desolate without man and without inhabitant and without beast, the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of them that shall say, praise Yahweh, hallelujah of hosts. For Yahweh is good, for his mercy endureth forever. And of them that shall bring the sacrifice of praise into the house of Yahweh. For I will cause the return the captivity of the land, as at the first, saith Yahweh. The promise of the return to captivity. This is guaranteed because it's from the word of the Most High. So he's going to bring back Israel and Judah. See, them people that are on the land right now, them Ashkenazis, they're not Israel or Judah. And when they say Jew, they're not the tribe of Judah. They're not from the southern kingdom. That's Jewish. The true Israel and Judah were scattered through slavery. The true Israel and Judah have the appearance of Egyptians. And in the Bible, quite often they were mistaken for Egyptians. And ancient Egyptians were brown. Judah has hair like wool. Judah went into slavery by ships. Judah don't remember where they from. Was given other names and worshiping other gods, wooden stone, the wooden cross, and the Muslim stone out there in Saudi Arabia called Mecca. That's Judah. They migrated into what we call Africa. And from there, the children of Ham sold them to the children of Japhet. And the children of Japhet put them into slavery. Some of them were sold to even Semites of the Arabs who put them also into slavery. Which is why you had the kingdom of Mali, the kingdom of Ashanti, the kingdom of Timbuktu were Muslim kingdoms because the Muslims came and overran our brothers. So a lot of them were taken into slavery as Muslims. But then there were some that stayed with the old ways. They're still there. The Igbo, the Lemba, even some still in Ashanti that stay faithful to the old ways. Some of them in the mountains of Ethiopia now, staying faithful to the covenant. Praise Yah. Let's continue. Verse 12. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, again in the place which is desolate, without man and without beast, and in all the cities thereof shall be an habitation of shepherds, causing their flocks to lie down. In the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the vale, and in the cities of the south, in the land of Benjamin, and in the places about Jerusalem, in the cities of Judah, shall the flocks pass again under the hand of him that telleth them, saith Yahweh. Behold, the days come. He's going to repeat what we read in Jeremiah 23. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will perform the good thing which I have promised unto the house of Israel and to the house of Judah. In those days and at that time will I cause the branch of righteousness, that's Messiah, to grow up unto David, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land. In those days, Judah shall be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. And this is the name wherewith he shall be called, Yahweh, our righteousness, or Yahweh Sadak. For thus saith Yahweh, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. Neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and kindle meal offerings and to do sacrifice continually. Wait a minute. He's promising there's always going to be Levites. Is this the only place that he talks about that? That there's going to be Levites? There's got to be at least 2 or 3 witnesses, right? This can't be the only place he talks about Levites in the kingdom, right? Well, let's find a couple of them. Let's look at a couple of them in the kingdom that he's going to establish in the next 10 to 12 years. Let's look at this. Let's take a look. Isaiah. Let's go back to Isaiah. Watch this. Isaiah chapter 66. Isaiah chapter 66. Y'all ready? Let's find some Levites in the kingdom. Isaiah chapter 66. Thus saith Yahweh, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me? Where is the place of my rest? For all those things hath mine hand made, and all those things have been, saith Yahweh. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. He that killeth an ox as if he slew a man. He that sacrificed a lamb as if he cut off a dog's neck. He that offereth an oblation as if he offered swine blood. He that burneth incense as if he blessed an idol. Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abominations. I also will choose their delusions, and will bring their fears upon them. Because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear. But they did evil before mine eyes, and chose that which I delighted not. Hear the word of Yahweh, ye that tremble at his word. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, and said, let Yahweh be glorified. But he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. A voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of Yahweh that rendereth recompense to his enemies. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man child. You know who they're talking about, right? When they talk about the man child. I mean, we're looking for Levites here, but you do know what they talk about when they talk about the man child. You know what that is, right? Some of y'all ain't got to explain it. Some of y'all don't know because you don't read. The man child is in Revelation, and the woman is Israel. Here it is again right here. Let's continue. Who hath heard such a thing? Who hath seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day, or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Shall I bring to the birth and not cause to bring forth, saith Yahweh? Shall I cause to bring forth and shut the wombs, saith the Most High? Rejoice ye with Jerusalem, and be glad with her, all ye that love her. Rejoice for joy with her, all ye that mourn for her. Ye that ye may suck and be satisfied with the breast of her consolations, that ye may eat, that ye may milk out and be delighted with the abundance of her glory. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and the glory of the Gentile like a flowing stream. Then shall ye suck, and ye shall be born upon her side, and be dandled upon her knees. As one whom his mother comforted, so will I comfort you, and ye shall be comforted in Jerusalem. And when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, your bones shall flourish like an herb, and the hand of Yahweh shall be known toward his servants, and his indignation toward his enemies. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by the sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination in the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh. For I know their works and their thoughts, and it shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations. Now wait, there are those that escape of the heathen. Who is that? Israel. Wait, I will send them to Tarshish, to Pul, to Lud, that draw the bow, to Tubal, to Yavan. These are the Gentiles. And to the isles of Far, that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory, and they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. So he's sending servants to declare his glory among the Gentiles. His servants, the Israelites, because there's some Gentiles that have not known the truth. And he knows if they heard it, they will follow it, like some of y'all. Like some of y'all. Okay. Verse 20. Isn't this wonderful? Look at this. And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto Yahweh out of all nations upon horses and in chariots and litters and upon mules, upon swift beasts to my holy mountain, saith Yahweh, as the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of Yahweh. And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites. There it is. So he's going to have some Levites. You see, brethren, we read in, if you remember last week when we read Hebrews, you remember we read where the law was changed, Hebrews chapter 7. The law was changed because you had the tribe of Judah represented by Messiah as the high priest. So he said, I'm going to take a people that are redeemed from among the Gentiles, not the Gentiles, but from among the Israelites that come from among the Gentiles. I'm going to send them out to the Gentiles, have them reveal myself to the Gentiles, and I'm going to take of them. Why? Because what do the Levites do? Don't they teach? Don't they teach? Okay, wait a minute. I told you more than one witness, right? Let me give you another one. Give you a couple more. Let's go to Malachi, the last book of the Old Testament. Malachi, chapter 3. Malachi, chapter 3. Talking about Levites. Malachi, chapter 3. Behold, verse 1. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. Yahweh, whom ye seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith Yahweh of hosts. So he's sending messengers before Messiah returns. He's going to suddenly come, because to the Gentiles, he suddenly come. But his messengers, who are the messengers? Y'all should know. The messengers are going to prepare the way before him, like John the Baptist did. Okay, wait a minute. Verse 2. But who may abide in the day of his coming? Wasn't that the question asked in Revelation chapter 6? Who shall be able to stand? We got the answer already. Notice again. But who may abide in the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire and like a fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto Yahweh an offering in righteousness. He's going to purge who? The teachers who are going to warn the Gentiles and teach them. Wait a minute. All right, let me give you another. Let's go back to the book of Revelation. Matter of fact, let's go back to the book of Revelation. Yes, let's go back there. Revelation chapter 1. Revelation chapter 1. John, the Israelite, is going to give this message of Revelation to the Israelite people, his servants, who are going to give it to the Gentiles. Y'all see in the order here. Revelation chapter 1, beginning at verse 4. We read this earlier, but I'm sure y'all didn't catch it. Watch. Beginning at verse 4. Going from verse 4 to verse 6. John, or Yachanan, to the 7 churches which are in Asia. Grace be unto you and peace from him which is, and which was, and which is to come. And from the 7 spirits which are before his throne. And from your Messiah, Yahweh Shai, I want to say it right now, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead, the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and hath made us kings and priests. Priests teach. Levites. Unto Yah his Father, to him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So he's going to raise up the Levites. I believe, that's why I keep saying to you, even though you see 12 tribes represented in 144,000, to me, they're all going to be teachers. They're going to be teachers that teach the Gentiles. And they're going to start teaching here now. They're Israelites. Praise the Most High. Let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 33. Jeremiah chapter 33. Let's go back there where we started seeing the Levites. Verse 18. Neither shall the priests the Levites want a man to stand before me, to offer burnt offerings and kindle meat offerings to do sacrifice continually. Yahweh, the word of Yahweh came unto Jeremiah saying, watch, verse 20, Jeremiah 33:20. Thus said Yahweh, watch this, watch carefully. If ye can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, that there should not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers, as the host of heaven cannot be numbered, neither the sand of the sea measured, so will I multiply the seed of David my servant, and the Levites that minister unto me. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto Jeremiah, saying, consider thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which Yahweh hath chosen, he hath even cast them off. Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Isn't that what it is? We're a scattered nation right now. The Israelites are not in a denomination. They're not in a Christian denomination. They're not anybody's 501c3. The true Israelite is a scattered nation to be gathered by Messiah himself, not the UN, not the United States, to be gathered by Messiah himself. Okay. Verse 25. Thus saith Yahweh, if my covenant be not with the day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not make any of the seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy upon them. There you go. You're going to multiply the seed, and the Levites that minister unto him. Let me ask you a question. Where exactly did the Levites minister in Jerusalem? Do y'all remember? Where did they minister? The Kohathites. Where did they minister? Children of Kohath or the Levi. Yeah, Gershom also, and Merari. Where did they minister? They minister, well, let me show you. Back to Revelation again. Revelation chapter 3 this time. Church of Philadelphia. Watch what it says. Revelation 3, Church of Philadelphia. Watch what it says. Verse 7 of Revelation chapter 3. Watch the ministers. Watch them. Before I continue, well, I'll tell you in a second. Revelation 3:7. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, right? These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Watch verse 12. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my Most High. Church of Philadelphia. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my Most High. He shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my Most High, and the name of the city of my Most High, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my Most High. And Messiah says, I will write upon them my new name, which is Yahweh Sadak, Yahweh's righteousness, which is why we be saved. We're saved in Yah's righteousness. His perfect righteousness through Messiah delivers us. Wait a minute. Here's, again, for those of you that want to know, here's a little hint about how to study Revelation. There are 7 churches. followed by 7 seals, followed by 7 trumpets. Listen carefully. You go through the 7 churches. Then you go to the first seal, and you go back through the first church. You go into the second seal, and you go into the second church. And you keep doing that for all the seals. 6th seal, especially with the 6th church. Then you go through the trumpets. You go through the first trumpet with the first seal with the first church. You do the same thing with the second and the third and the fourth, and especially the 6th. You go through the 6th trumpet, the 6th seal, and the 6th church. Notice it's 6, 6, 6. That's Yah's answer to the mark of the beast. The 6th church, the 6th seal, and the 6th trumpet. Then you'll begin to see what's going on. Just gave you a big hint. Okay, gave you a big hint. That's why when you see the 6th church, Philadelphia, and you go to the 6th seal, you will see in the 6th seal the 144,000. They're in the 6th seal. Then you'll go to the 6th trumpet, and you will see again the 144,000. You will see them in the form of the 2 witnesses. 6th trumpet. It's in the 6th trumpet, Messiah said, there shall be time no longer. And I'm going to reveal the mystery. No coincidence. Okay? That's how it's a harmony. 7s, 7s, 7s. There's a rhythm to it. Okay, there's a rhythm to it. And it'll help you see it. Okay, praise the Most High Yah. What you do when you read those things, it gives you hints. Like, for example, when it talks about the 3rd church, Thyatira. I'm sorry, Pergamos. And it talks about Balaam in the 3rd church. Balaam. You got to go back and study Balaam to know what's going on. Okay, you understand what's happening. You got to study Balaam. Right? Go back and look at that. We're talking about eat things. It talks about Jezebel. You got to go back and study Jezebel. See what's going on. That's Thyatira. Tells you. Okay? Tells you that. When it talks about the 144,000, then there's a numberless multitude, and they got palm branches in their hand. Where in the Bible, in the Old Testament, do they have palm branches in their hand? Go study that. And you start to see. You understand? What were trumpets used for in Israel? It was a warning about danger to come, or something serious, a holy convocation, something serious coming. You need to know that when you study the word. Okay? Just giving you some hints. But we just read today how Israel is going to be reborn. The nation is going to be reconstituted. As the Bible says in Acts, it's going to be a restitution of all things. It's going to be a restitution of all things. Okay? Restitution of all things. Israel is going to be reconstituted. Judah and the northern kingdom is going to be brought back together. The Levites, who are 100, in my view, the 144,000 coming from all 12 tribes, are going to be teachers. And there's going to be people from the earth that are going to be kings. And you remember, Messiah said to the Laodicean, him that overcometh will be able to sit with me on my throne, even if I overcame and sit down with my Father in his throne. And he told the 12 apostles, you're going to sit on 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. He said that. And he also said, many shall come from the east and the west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of Yahweh. That's you Gentiles. See, so, brethren, there's a lot to this. It's much more than a cursory glance, as you can see. And again, y'all could bear witness. Did we not go all over the Bible? Did we not get witnesses from prophets and revelation? Didn't we do that? Didn't we even go in the New Testament and look at 1 Corinthians? Didn't we do that? Come on now. Got to get into this thing, man. This is for our lives right now. It's for our lives. No joke. No guessing, no philosophy. This is the deal right here. Okay? Praise the Most High Yahweh. So we will continue by the grace of the Most High, Jeremiah chapter 34, going forward here. Lot to cover in Jeremiah, as you can see, lot to cover. But you can see also the powerful promises of the restoration of the true Israelite nation. Okay? And you can see, obviously, that the nation perpetrating the fraud that's supposed to be claiming to be Israel don't fit any of them prophecies. It don't fit any of them. They weren't persecuted. They weren't scattered through slavery. And definitely they're not Israel and Judah. They no 12 tribes there. No. Messiah didn't give them that land unless Messiah is the United States or the UN, because that's how they got it in 1948. So you can see they fit none of the prophecy. But you got to read the prophecy to know that. And the people that do fit the prophecy are what you call the Negro, the black man, the Indian. Scattered all over the earth. Persecuted. Begging to come into the border of the United States. Okay? Praise the Most High. This is going to be over soon. It's going to be over soon, y'all. It really is. And we praise the Most High for that. Please be careful out there on this Shabbat. The Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom.